Back with more Titans. This is episode 2 of season 3. Very excited to carry on, see what's going to be happening next in my desperate attempt to quickly catch up before the next episode drops, which is, as I'm filming this, in 2 days. So it's going to be a tight squeeze, but hopefully we can manage it. But yes, I'm very, very, very excited. I love the premiere. They set up some really interesting things. Assumingly... Is that a word, assumingly? I don't know. I said it now. I assume we're going to be bringing all the Titans to Gotham for a bit to try and fill in the void, save the city, now that Bruce has killed Joker and left, which is a lot. Jason's dead, which is sad. And there's some weird stuff going on with Corey as well, and something maybe to do with her drink, maybe not. Shenanigans are happening, basically, but we got reintroduced to most of the crew in the last one, a few new players as well, just seeing where they're at, and I'm excited to see what they have in store for the next episode. It's called Red Hood, so I'm hyped. I think we're gonna see our boy, and I'm kind of nervous actually to see exactly how he's going to be handled in this, because I've mentioned before, you know, he's one of my favourite DC characters, so to see how the Titans treatment goes for him, we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, I'm very hyped. Let's get into it.
I've heard
this is very Under the Red Hood vibes. I'm excited. Oh. Yep, I'm sure you got him. Well done. Oh! Oh, look at him. Is it heads? Yes, it's heads.
Fuck me. That's my sister's kid. All your number twos.
Was. That head just on the table.
Any more questions?
Yes. Okay, that was very good.
How long you been on the force? You ask a lot of questions. Todd with 1D. Yeah, I'll do 20th.
I mean, the bin was right there. Todd with 1D. Oh.
I'll be around if you need me.
Okay.
We still got it.
Goodish terms.
You picked a nice time for a reunion. And you are?
Thanks, V.
Thanks, V. Kind of scary.
You know how crazy that is, right? Trying to step into your father's shoes.
I do, Commissioner Gordon.
No.
The Titans have been spotted in Gotham City just one day after the Joker was murdered in Arkham Asylum. The Titans did not answer questions, but sources... I should warn you.
I was gonna say, this is Gal's dream to see all the Batman stuff.
Can we see the Batsuit? No. The Batmobile?
Guys.
What? You made me ask. I did not. Dick. There'll be enough time for all of that, but right now we need to focus.
And that's
on the
Connor.
task at hand.
Oh look, a Red Hood. Oh, Jesus.
Why do you want to talk to me?
Oh.
You okay?
I think whatever you're being used for is done now. Oh, Jesus. Whoa! Well, that made it stop.
You're really not gonna like it. Scarecrow.
What?
Oh.
Like it?
Yeah, I wouldn't consult with him.
You're taking advice from a fucking crazy person.
It was Bruce's idea.
Exactly, advice from a fucking crazy person.
It's not death or love nor loneliness will ever give comfort.
Oh my god. Here we go again.
1959 estate.
Oh, please don't get any on the book.
Corey? Corey, talk to me.
Oh my.
If it happens again, call me. Maybe I can prescribe something.
Thanks.
And if it doesn't happen again, you can call me anyway.
Smooth.
I will.
He's persistent, I'll give him that.
But when I'm a good little doggy, they give me my treats. He somehow knows who this Nightwing character really is, and he has some sort of jealousy complex.
Well,
That's it? That's it? The note, it's written on the back of a page, torn from a chess manual. It's just his opening move.
oh, interesting. I'm liking what he's doing with Scarecrow.
Let's get a list of all the Gotham streets with bird names.
There's 5 in Gotham. Bluebird.
I'm liking like the detective side of things as well.
Everybody, so we suiting up? If you're gonna dove, I'm gonna hawk.
There's always something with these two, isn't there?
We have work to do.
Call your men off and let us handle it. We're gonna find them and bring them back to you safe and sound. Nobody needs to get hurt.
Hopefully. Oh. It's not the parents.
Those people in the bank. They aren't the parents. Now it's over.
Uh-oh. Jesus.
They walked out with $25 million.
Holy shit.
2 blocks away.
Whoever this is exactly what they want.
Which is?
Mistrust between us.
Well, they should have called first. That box was already checked.
Those guys
Jeez.
look like
Nobody else could have convinced me to do that.
Yeah.
It wasn't professional.
No, that's true.
right. Keep it professional.
How long can they keep it professional, though, really?
Some kind of meat thing. That's Cryptos.
Oh.
Though Dawn tells me you rocked the bike shorts back in DC. Hey, those are pursuit and attack shorts, motherfucker. Chin fucking up, amigo.
Aw.
Chin up.
I like how the friendship between those two developed. There was a bit of hostility at the start, wasn't there, with the whole Dawn situation?
This guy Bobby Fischer had the fillings removed from his mouth because he thought the Russians were using it as a radio transmitter.
Stop.
It's a fact.
Fisher took out his own filling? The answer isn't figuring out more of Bird's opening moves, it's how he beat it.
Hobbs Gambit.
Hobbs?
Unsound but nonetheless interesting and uncommon.
No, not that. Hobbs Powder Group. They used to make explosives. Batman and I shut them down for street.
Oh.
There's a 911 call 2 minutes ago coming from the Hobbs building.
911 operator.
Gar. You wonderful, wonderful soul.
All clear here.
I really like the dynamic with Corey, Gar, and Connor.
World's biggest douche. Bird.
I mean, I think their quotes could use some work.
We'll never know.
Oh boy.
Just like the Titans.
Oh heck. I can't believe we're getting a live action Nightwing versus Red Hood. Oh.
Bruce always told me you were better than me with the toys.
Really?
Ooh, we've certainly set the stage. Oh. Okay, is my kind of thoughts on that. I love that episode. I think that was even stronger for me than the premiere was. Damn. I like that they used Red Hood quite sparingly. He was only in it at the start and the end, because I assume we're going to get quite a bunch of that this season anyway. So like, you know, slow introduction to him, I thought was really cool. I really like the costume, seeing it properly used in an episode in live action, stuff like that. I still think the helmet's maybe a bit too big, but that might just be like a practical issue about having that character in live action, you know. I do think it looks a lot better on screen than the pictures did in terms of like how big it looks. So I'm more than happy with the costume. I think it looks great. And from initial impressions, I love him. Cohen's doing a really great job with what we've gotten so far. I like that they've like modulated the voice a bit. I'm kind of disguising it. I loved the opening scene where we first were introduced to him. Very Under the Red Hood kind of vibes, if you've seen that. You know, the whole kind of group of people there, the heads in the bag, him like demanding the money basically for protection. All of that was really cool, very well done, very atmospheric. I liked his initial appearance, sliding down, then walking out from the shadows. I even thought that the reveal of him was cool. You know, a lot of people are going to know Jason is the Red Hood. So, you know, I think that kind of played into his strengths to just reveal that early and get that out of the way. So I think if you like follow the actors on Instagram and stuff like that, you're going to know anyway, even if you weren't familiar with the character in the comics and stuff. And, you know, I think some people are going to be like, well, you know, it's quite rushed. And I completely understand those criticisms. I think they could have waited to do it, but I'm also willing to see where it goes. Because my theory, if we're talking about it, you know, the last episode they mentioned like a serial killer who'd been like going around and had been active for a little while. By the time that Jason died, they already killed like 7 or 8 people or something, and then there was another one after Jason died, I think. My theory is right now that whatever Jason was injecting himself with, or, you know, ingesting, that kind of fear toxin looking stuff, because they highlighted his fears and stuff, so I imagine it's going to be tied to Scarecrow maybe, especially because he was introduced in this one. I feel like maybe he's been manipulated by Scarecrow and Jason was the one who actually committed all those murders. So even before he called himself Red Hood and put the helmet on and everything, I feel like maybe even before he died, he was acting as the Red Hood, if you will. So he may have been that way for a while, and now is embodying it after he died. How exactly he came back from the dead and all that stuff, I don't know. And again, it's just a theory, could be completely bollocks. But that's kind of how I'm thinking, like, maybe it's not as sudden as we feel like it is, because we haven't seen the origin, particularly of this Red Hood yet. That's obviously going to come at some point. And I think that's when we can really judge how successful maybe getting to the Red Hood point was, and whether or not it was rushed or whatever. But I feel like there's obviously so much more to the story of Jason getting to this point where he is right now. But acting as the Red Hood, I'm really liking him. Just taking down all these people, you know, the whole hero, villain, anti-hero kind of thing with Red Hood, you know. I think that's always going to be personal taste, how far you want him to go. I'm sure the worst is yet to come with Jason. Things will get worse before they get better. But also, I don't think they should just jump into, you know, oh, this is the Red Hood you know from the comics. There he is. You know, we saw the Titans kind of come together. It took 2 bloody seasons for Dick Grayson to become Nightwing, you know. So I'm willing to kind of just give them a shot and maybe be like, you know, this Red Hood maybe isn't identical to how he is, you know, and the character we know in the comics, because maybe they're going to give him a character arc. Maybe he will be redeemed and become more anti-hero-y. Maybe, you know, he's going to get even worse from here. You know, maybe we haven't seen the half of it yet. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go with it and what they do, how they explain how Jason got to the point where he embodied the Red Hood, how that all happened. And I'm very excited to see that, because I imagine there's going to be, you know, twists and turns to it in the Titans way. It's probably not going to be just beat for beat how it went down in the comics and stuff. And I don't think I'd want it to be, because then it's just like, why not, you know, you're just making live action under the Red Hood. You might as well just change it up, you know. I'm sure they will. So I'm excited to see where they go with that. But I don't think it's a coincidence that we have Scarecrow being introduced into the mix, and we had Jason taking whatever that stuff was that looked kind of fear toxin-y to me. And I think that's all going to link together somehow. Maybe I'm wrong, but either way, we've got Red Hood in the show, which I'm very excited about, and we have Scarecrow in the show, which I'm also very excited about, because he's another one of my favourite Batman villains. He's probably my second favourite after Joker, so very pleased. We've had Joker, Scarecrow and Red Hood in 2 episodes into the season, so, you know, the fan in me is very happy already. So I'm excited about that, and I know some people, and I even if they do like have a nice explanation and stuff for it, I will understand if people still think it's a bit too soon, because it probably is, but we're getting Red Hood in live action, so I'm a bit too hyped about that to really complain about it. And there'll be people who are like, well, you know, they made it so obvious that it was going to be Jason, they didn't really, you know, they just assumed that we'd know how it was, that's where the hype came from, and I get that as well. But I think it was Brie in her reaction made a very good point on Brit Smash's channel, and they were talking, and Brie was kind of saying it's kind of similar to Spider-Man Homecoming, where you know the story with Uncle Ben and all that, and how he became Spider-Man. Everyone knows that, it's kind of public knowledge, and they didn't feel entitled to show it, so they didn't. Just like we know, how Batman came to be. They didn't explain the origins of Batman in Titans, we just knew it. And I feel like it is kind of that point, and people who are watching the show and still watching the show at this point, I think will just be familiar with these characters and those stories. So I don't think it's necessarily a detriment that they just assume some of that knowledge, because they do explain it. And there's going to be an episode, I'm sure, where they explain how he became Red Hood anyway. So it's not like we're never going to get an origin. Jason's just a Red Hood now, accept it. I think we are going to fill in those gaps. But yeah, this was a very good start. I loved the fight with him and Nightwing at the end was so cool. I loved him grabbing the baton thing, and then it electrified him, and how they revealed the mask breaking and stuff. It was really well done. I thought it was very well choreographed, that little fight. Hopefully we'll get more of that kind of thing. Nightwing just doing all those flips, Jason just going crazy with the gun. All really, really cool. And I'm excited to see it continue, and to see how Jason had ended up in this mindset, being the Titans are rubbish now, they're extinct, I'm gonna... So yeah, that's going to be really cool to see how everyone's going to react to the news that Jason is the one, who's behind all of this and is the Red Hood now. That's actually cool. And to have actual people in Red Hood seeing him kind of work behind the scenes, be multiple steps ahead. How did Jason get to this point where he has all this knowledge? We know he was studying a bit of chemistry and stuff, but, to have tactics like this, how did he get to that position? I'm not feeling it's a plot hole, because how is he this good, blah, blah, blah. I think those are the questions they want you to ask, because we're going to get those gaps filled in at some point. So yeah, and I do think the idea that maybe Jason was Red Hood, or acting like Red Hood, before he even died and then became Red Hood is kind of an interesting twist on the origin, if that's something they're going to do as well. I think to me that's what makes the most sense, because maybe if he didn't become properly Red Hooded, if you will, until he died, because otherwise it was literally the next day he's Red Hood, I think that would be a bit much to kind of swallow. So I'm sure there's going to be more to it. So I'm excited about that. But great first impression. I really, really love, how he looks and acts so far. So I'm sure this isn't how the Red Hood character is going to end up. I don't think he's an anti-hero just yet. He's the villain. When Red Hood was first introduced and stuff, he's villainous. So I'm excited for more of that. I think Cohen's doing a great job with it. I'm just excited to delve into the psyche of Red Hood a lot more now, especially the one that everyone knows. I they didn't really waste any time with that, especially because we've got Blackfire at this point, in some point this season as well, to deal with, and I'm sure at some point the focus will shift to Blackfire as the main villain. So I feel like it's not, we're going to have 13 episode Red Hood arc. I'm feeling like it's going to be, I talked about this in my trailer reaction, I felt the first half of the season maybe is going to be Red Hood focused, and then we're going to get a huge kind of Blackfire-y kind of storyline in the second half. Again, could be wrong, but that's just my speculation, and that's kind of why maybe we're hitting those strides quite quick with the Red Hood story, but we'll see. But yeah, love the introduction, very, very cool. I really liked Scarecrow as well. I really liked Vincent as Jonathan Crane. I really like what he brought to it, the voice he kind of gave to it, the fact that he just seems so casual, and you just think this guy dresses as a Scarecrow and made people face their fears, and it's just this guy who's you've got some drugs for me, thanks. But he's also very clever, and he had all these profiles, and he's talked about chess moves, and that gave them the idea to kind of work out some chess stuff, and that's how they tracked down where Jason was going to be next and stuff. And that's what's making me think, is there a connection between Scarecrow and Red Hood? Because Scarecrow's the one who planted the whole chess thing in their brains by telling them, they wrote this on the back of a chess textbook or whatever. So maybe it's all the big plot. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. Probably am, but who knows? So yeah, I really enjoyed seeing Scarecrow. I don't know if he's going to actually, get a costume and stuff or whatever, if it's just going to be Jonathan Crane in prison. I'm happy with that either way, because the kind of attitude he gave him, and just the weariness, I guess, almost, that you feel he has been in there for a long time, and it really shows. He's kind of, he's got his connections. He's still kind of just accepting of his life there. I find that really interesting. I liked that take on Jonathan Crane. So that was really cool. Very happy with Vincent's performance, and I look forward to seeing a bit more of it. I'm also continuing to like the dynamic between Dick and Barbara as well. Really like this version of Barbara a lot. She was, you know, she was willing to put some trust in Dick to get the job done. Immediately proved maybe shouldn't have done that, and now she's a bit pissed, but you can kind of understand it, and it's showing that Red Hood is several steps ahead, as the villain probably should be this early in the season, so I like that. And her trying desperately to kind of find this balance between professional and personal life when it comes to Dick, and obviously they have a romantic history and everything. And they're really hammering that point home, so I imagine that is going to be something they explore this season, which I'm fine with. I still do think, you know, Dick and Corey is going to be the end game, I hope. That's definitely something they need to explore, but I also like the relationship between Dick and Barbara, so if that's something they're going to explore as well for a time, I'm also happy with that. But yeah, I just liked, we saw the Titans be a team again and work stuff out. Gosh, showing how intelligent he is, like working out, like we're viewing this whole chess thing the wrong way. We need to work out, you know, not something on the other side of exactly what else is this chess move about. How do we stop this chess move? I really like seeing how his brain was working that out, and him and Corey just casually playing chess to try and work it out, and Connor just doing some research to try and work it out. I liked seeing more of that group dynamic. The trio of Corey, Connor and Gar, I think really works. I love how it feels like she's just, you know, the adopted mother who's just exasperated with her kids all the time, and I really enjoy that. And they continued a bit. She had another kind of freakish episode in this one, talked to that Justin guy for some advice, so there's still, you know, they didn't just completely disregard what happened with her in episode 1. That's still an ongoing thing, just more so a background kind of plot line for now, but I'm sure that's going to become, you know, front and centre. Maybe that is like a Blackfire thing that's going on, I'm not sure, because there seems to be something to do with her past. Is she seeing something from her past? I don't know if that is, you know, the asylum from season 1, because she went through quite the ordeal there, or if it's something else from her history. I'm not really sure, because I think she was speaking like Tamarinian and stuff for a bit, so I feel like maybe it's connected to her past, or I'm not sure. Again, just wild speculation, but I'm interested in seeing more of that. And it was cool to see Gar and Connor have a few scenes working stuff out, sometimes just relaxing and geeking out over Batman and the Batcave and all that cool stuff, which I absolutely would. That was a big mood. So I like seeing more of them. And we also caught up with Hank and Dawn is still part of the Titans. She's still around. She just wasn't in the first episode, I guess. She was more centered in DC, and Hank was there as well. They went there after Donna's death. I like just catching up, seeing what they're doing. Dawn's still very active as Dove. Hank was kind of resting the Hawk costume as he wanted. And then everything changes and they go back to Gotham. And I don't know where they're going to go with those two. I imagine they're going to get back together, but there's always relationship drama with the two of them. So hopefully this season they work that out and just be like, okay, let's just commit. You know, I'm done with all the infighting with the Titans. Let's just have them get along, you know? Either get them together and keep them together, or just keep them apart. You know, the back and forth. We've been doing it for, you know, 2 and a bit seasons now. Let's just stop. But it was cool to see him choose to become Hawk again, because, you know, she was Dove again in Gotham. He seems to be really enjoying it, maybe a bit too much. I don't know if that's going to be a thing. But he was like smiling away when all this stuff was going on when he was back in the costume. So I don't know if that's going to be a bit of a concern or a reason for them to butt heads more. We'll have to wait and see. But it was cool to catch up with them, and they are now in Gotham with everyone. Seeing everyone arrive in Gotham was quite fun. And I don't think it's going to be a, you know, full-time thing that they're in Gotham now. I think it might just be at most this season, and then I think they'll go back to San Francisco. I wouldn't want it to just be set in Gotham now. You know, it's still the Titans show. But I feel like we got more of a look in with the Titans as a team in this one, because Bruce is just gone, God knows where. I feel like he's just going to be away for quite a while now. Maybe he just never appears again. We'll have to wait and see. But I like them trying to navigate fighting crime with the Titans being in Gotham now, trying to find a place, trying to work out what's going on with the Red Hood thing, trying and failing on a few occasions. But there were some really great moments. I liked them trying to stop the bank heist and then realising that the parents weren't being forced to do anything. They were just kidnapped victims as well. It was all the big kind of diversion and trap for them. So just showing Red Hood's intelligence with that is really fun. And yeah, just to catch up with a few people we still haven't seen yet. I'm hoping maybe next episode we see maybe Rachel check in with her, because we haven't seen her in these first two, and I think she's the only... Is she the only big name title that we haven't seen yet that's been introduced already? Obviously there's Donna, but she's still currently... So, we may not check in with her just yet, but I'm hoping maybe we'll see Rachel in the next one, I don't know. But I'm enjoying the slow introductions to everyone again, and this really felt like, right, we've set the stage for this arc for this season. We're in Gotham now, we're going to try and save the city, we have Red Hood causing havoc. Oh shit, it's Jason, what's going on with that? Here we go, the stage has been set. They've had that first initial confrontation, and I think things are only going to escalate from here. So I'm very excited for that. And I'm very excited for the next episode, which I'm hopefully going to be watching later on tonight. We'll have to wait and see how long it takes me to edit this episode. But regardless, another fantastic episode. I think I preferred it even to the premiere, which was already great. So very solid start to the season for me with season 3. Loving what they're doing with Red Hood, like the continuation of like Corey's little story that's going on. Just seeing more of the Titans dynamic, seeing them be detectives, working stuff out was really fun. And yeah, I'm just excited to see where it's going to go next. So yeah, that's going to be everything for now. And until my next reaction, thanks for watching.